Hey everybody, welcome back to another bookshelf review. I'm Grim, and today we're going to be talking about The Exorcist House by Nick Roberts. I actually read this book earlier this year, and I've read some books in between, but since I read it earlier this year, I'm actually now reading the sequel to it. Well, sequels, the second book called The Exorcist House Genesis. The Exorcist House Genesis. And right now I'm really enjoying the second book. I'll probably do one of these on it whenever I'm done, just to have the 1 and 2. The book was published May 6th, 2022, and runs about 288 pages. And it's a pretty quick read. I mean, I'm not like the quickest reader in the world. I think it probably took me a couple days, but it didn't take long, and it was pretty solid. So we're going to go ahead and get reading to the back of the book here. In the summer of 1994, psychologist Daniel Hill buys a rustic farmhouse nestled in the rolling hills of West Virginia. Along with his wife and teenage daughter, the family uproots their lives in Ohio and moves south. They are initially seduced by the natural beauty of the country setting that soon changes when they discover a hidden room in the basement with a well, boarded shut and adorned with crucifixes. Local legends about the previous owner being an exorcist comes to light, but then all hell has broken loose. So the general story follows Daniel, the husband, for the most part, and in some parts Nora. It is worth mentioning that Nora is pregnant throughout the book, and they have an older teenage daughter named Alice, but that's kind of an important thing later. The book follows the Hills family's journey. It follows their journey into the work and life of the previous owner. The owner who used to own the farmhouse, his name was Merle Blatty, which I believe is a play on the original author of The Exorcist's name, William Peter Blatty. I don't know if that was intentional. It has to be, right? It's a little on the nose. Either way. The family finds all of his work in journals in the basement of the farmhouse, and it leads Daniel down this rabbit hole of research and really delving into these VHS tapes that were recorded and audio recordings of all of Merle's exploits, and they become very parallel to what he's dealing with now, and it helps him out throughout the story. And while Daniel becomes obsessed with Merle's work, the family, including Daniel, are tortured by a demonic spirit. I cannot speak too much beyond that without spoiling the book pretty bad, but that's kind of the front end, a little more a deeper dive into the subject matter. So, thematically, the book at its roots, I feel, is very much like a keep your loved ones close. That's the kind of overarching gist. What I get is keep them together, keep them close, love them, and work through hardships, work through it, and don't give up. That kind of cheesy stuff. Throughout the book, even though it's pretty short, the dynamic and the feel of the characters, especially the core family of the Hills, feels very real and very, very grounded in reality. They are definitely people that you and I have met in our lifetime. They're very common folks, very common problems, very common things, which makes those characters, in my opinion, a lot more relatable, and it's easier to put yourself in their shoes and in their context. The book does expand on some pretty heavy topics, like moments of weakness in a marriage, or the fear of losing a child while being with child, of losing it. And at its core, this book is capital H haunted house story. Evil in the house must be handled. It's the two things. my general thoughts, I feel like the topics that the book does explore are done really well given the runtime. It shows a lot of the family members' like moral pitfalls and shows how human they can be while still showing up for each other. Like examples, Daniel being the psychologist, he's very cold and methodical and very like, I'm going to pose this problem with logic instead of like in what I know, versus like, these are demons. You don't know about demons. You can't logic your way out of the demons. Nora, the wife, like has very dark secrets that like eats her alive, and she keeps it from Daniel and Alice for that matter. Alice also not really a moral pitfall, but just pretty common. Like she's a teenager, or she's becoming a teenager, a preteen maybe. No, I take that back. She's a full-blown teenager because in the second book she's a teenager in this. And she's like, she meets a boy, like a local boy, and she just like wants to go be with the boy, is embarrassed of her own family, doesn't want to be around. And it's very like normal. It's very normal and realistic things. But I think it does really well. It's not super dramatic. Oh my god, mom and dad, I fucking hate you. I don't want to live here anymore. It's not what it is. It's a I have more interests outside of here. Let me go. And the parents are like, I ain't gonna stop you. Like I said, it feels very grounded in very real life scenarios. The book is not reinventing the wheel when it comes to haunted house books, but I feel it's very unique as far as haunted house books go. There are a lot of unpredictable elements, in my opinion. Maybe not unpredictable, but the sense of, oh, they probably won't do that. Oh, they did do that. Like that's kind of the feel. I wasn't expecting a whole lot when I picked this book up. Truly, I was like, sure, I'll read it, I guess. And I was really pleasantly surprised, and I super enjoyed it. But I'm easy to please, you know. Like you guys know that I'm easy to please. I'm not super critical. I really need to do one of these days. I read a couple real fucking shitter books this year. I need to do a video. I'm recording, buddy. A video on those and just give my opinion. But I feel bad. I almost feel bad, like critiquing something that I have no realm in. Like who's me? Who am I to critique things poorly on something I did not do or have not done? That's different topic for a different day. The actual like possessions that take place are really neat, in my opinion. The demon acts more of a parasite and feasts on the person it inhabits, and making the person physically weaker and depriving them of like food, and it makes them super weak until they die eventually, which would then requires them to get a new host, which is really neat. I think it's a neat just a little bit of a spin. So for my closing opinions, I know it's kind of a shorter review, but there's a lot of this that if I talked about, it would really like give away a lot of things, and I don't want to do that. I want to do these as like more of a piquing of interest in somebody who maybe is like, maybe I'll read this book. I don't want to, like, if you've read the book, you know what I'm talking about. There's so much in it I can't necessarily talk about because it just kind of ruins the whole fucking thing. But I think the book was enjoyable and it was interesting. It had my attention. I was never bored. I also thought it was really easy to read and understand. I never felt any sense of confusion. I knew what was happening at all times, which I like. I'm stupid, and I don't like to feel confused. And I feel like the genuinely interesting characters help drive the story through, like, these pretty, like, there's like decent sections of exposition, but I cared what they were saying. What they were saying had some kind of weight. They weren't just talking to talk, and it helped to really drive the story through. And I think all in all, I think I'm gonna slap a 4. I'm gonna slap a 4 on it, and just, it was a 4. It's a 4 out of 5. I like it. I think if I'm gonna add it to the collection, I think I'd buy the physical. You know me, I'm a Kindle guy. But if I would definitely want this as a physical and keep it for myself. I did like the book enough to pick up the second one and start reading it, and I recommend you do the same. You can find it, I believe, Kindle Unlimited for free, or you can buy it on Amazon, or I don't know where else you can buy it, but I mean, most people buy their stuff on Amazon anyway. And until the next time, man, peace, love, rock and roll. I'll catch y'all on the next one. See you.